What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Starlight Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 180, the big 180, being recorded on October 12th, 2022. I am your host, Darth Moocher. I've got JoJo Binks, or Bootleg Joe, like to call him. We've got Grand Admiral Franz.
Howdy ho.
And we've got Ernie the Fallen Fett.
Hey, guys, what's up?
This is your team for tonight. We're talking all things Star Wars, all things Star Wars news, rumors, theories, and, of course, Andor episode 6, mid-season finale, I guess we'd call it. That's how we're calling it anyway. But before we get into all that good stuff and Star Wars talk, we got to shout out the most important people that allows this podcast to function.
Our wives.
Our wives, absolutely.
Oh,
they do allow this.
Gotcha. Sorry.
They do.
I meant the ones who bring joy to the podcast.
Then different list. Gotcha. All right, damn. Look at you. Damn, yeah, gonna get us all in trouble. I see how you are. All right, but here we go. How about our patrons? Let's shout them out. We've got AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Cliff, Brendan and Anya Epler, Crystal Lamphere, Don the Dad Dorn, Don and Brady of the Escape Pod podcast on the Red 5 Network, Flavy Davy, formerly of the Nerds with Attitude, Gavin Cotter from the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Mervine Bolanos, Nick Schaefer, and Ryan in the Star Joe's podcast. All right. Thank you all. We appreciate you. I had never seen Mervine's name. It threw me off. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
In this writing, I've seen it on Facebook, but it threw me off right there. I don't know why. It just completely.
Fanboy Mike?
Yeah.
Fanboy Mike's not on my list, dude, so he don't get a shout out.
I'll shout him out.
No, beep. Nope. No shout outs for him.
Well, if anybody wants to add to the list, if you feel so inclined, the link is in the description below to get that list going. And
stop being so pushy. Jeez,
they'll
donate when they want to. For any good, they will.
I'm just saying, it's
they
theirs.
need to all donate.
Let's just be good. Let's just be good.
Wow, Chris is the nice Chris today.
This is reverse psychology.
Our Patreon is able to pay for our trips right now. Scott Solo is on his trip. I'm next, so keep sending in those Patreon guys.
We have Disneyland passes to pay for, right?
and we are monetized now, so look out. I think we've got $9 in the jar, so look out, everybody.
Oh,
here we all come.
We start getting super chats. We start taking vacations out to Europe.
Yes, this place has gone nuts, right? We're gonna start.
That's
dropping
not what
people
happened to me last week. I swear, this wasn't because we got money in the kitty and I took off. That wasn't.
That's what happened.
Used it. I'm going to a concert.
Yeah, and Scott one-upped him. He's I'm going across the.
Yeah, he's overseas.
The rest of us are still stuck in Victorville for a minute.
Yeah,
we'll get it.
Exactly.
All right,
we
now
can go take a European trip. I just want to sit there the whole time and say, "God, I miss Jack."
Yeah,
that's all I want to do.
All right, Chris, go ahead and shout out the people that are being digested in the pit.
And our pit, we are full of Santo 1414. Toy Renzu, Mando Mike, Gavin Connor, and Joe. And that's it. Man, what a small group. That's wild. If you're out there listening right now live, jump in the chat, say what's up in the pit, Say what's up and let us know you're there so we can yell at you and make you part of the conversation. Now, before we jump in, Marco, that's odd for us to have that few of people. Yeah. Right? I made a point last week about Andor not being a midnight watch. Mm-hmm. Right? Do you think this is kind of a side effect of that?
100%, because I get text messages on the side saying, "Hey, I missed this live show because I haven't watched Andor yet." That didn't happen in Kenobi. Didn't happen of Mandalorian Fit because they watched midnights. This is a little bit more like I'll get to it when I get to it kind of stuff. They still enjoy it, but I think and I said this too. I said I'm enjoying the hell out of the show, but I do understand that the Andor series is probably a bingeable series. And it probably will come off that way. Like a lot of people will wait until all 12 are there and enjoy the hell out of it. They'll love it. But sometimes when it cuts abruptly, like the last cut, not last this week's, but the last two where it just kind of cuts, you're like, hey, I could have had a double episode there. Yeah. So it could benefit from a bingeable. I did like the Kenobi and stuff, where it's like cliffhanger cuts, to next week. So yes, I think this is a byproduct of the show being a little bit more toned down when it came to the excitement, and people are like, I'll just get it this weekend and I'll catch a Sarlacc on the replay.
Yeah, or even tonight, right? Like even right now, they're probably watching it. It's just not something that they're grabbing fast. I just think to that point last week, I just think it's a great show. It is. Yeah. Right. Yeah. My rewatch factor on it's very low, and the energy level on it's very low. But it's an intense type show, right? It's different. It's like watching. I don't know, Law and Order or House or something. I'm not going to watch it 20 times back then. I'm going to watch it once and be cool. And that's how I am with this. I'm sorry, Ernie, were you going to say something on it?
Yeah, no, it's so funny that you say that. I totally agree. Because, okay, so out of you guys, Moocher, are you still midnight?
Yeah.
Joey?
No, I got to go to work. I watch it at lunch at work.
And Chris, are you?
5 a.m.
Okay, see? And then how about everybody in the pit? What time are you guys watching it? And I get it, because I agree with everything that we're saying. It's a great show. They're doing a good job. But I have work. I can't. And there is no explaining it, because I was up for Kenobi, right? We were all texting each other.
Yep.
Like, oh, my God. But yet this is still a really good show.
Yeah.
But I can't. I had to. There you go, Toy Ren Sue. I did too. I had to watch it at work. I did, because last week I totally missed it. Like, oh, shit, we're going to do a show. I haven't even seen it. Bye, guys.
Yeah,
I got to go watch it. And then I came in late because I'd even forgot. Like,
wild,
I don't know
right?
what it is. It is, but
and
it's
still, it's not a show where I'm mad at it every week like Boba Fett, right? I'm not pissed about it. I dig it. The one episode was last week's, and I didn't hate last week's. I just think it was choppy. And too many damn scenes, which they fixed this week, right? Yeah. No problem at all. But everything meant something. It's really weird. But I feel like when I did try to watch it at midnight, I do have the captions on, right? Which I do with all these shows, so I catch everything. I feel like I'm reading. And when I read that late, I'm falling asleep if I'm not really like deep into some action or something coming up and I'm awaiting something. And I don't feel like I've been awaiting something because I don't know what to await.
Okay.
Right? A heist wasn't getting me excited necessarily. It's the start of the rebellion that gets me excited. I've seen heists. I'm not, you know.
No, 100%. Like I said, Gordon and Cliff will text me on the side like, "I'll catch you on the replay. I haven't watched Andor yet," but I totally get it.
Gordon's been that way for this series, and it's the only series Gordon's ever been that way on.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of not just like one or two of us thinking this. It kind of feels like a lot of us. Santos said it's midnight.
Yeah.
So
with you.
I'm still midnight just because I'm up. Yeah, I don't go to bed till like 2 or 3 in the morning anyway. And just don't do that.
See, and it's like I could watch it probably my first hour I'm there at work because we're kind of dead the first 2 or 3 hours, but I want it's the type of show that you got to watch with no distractions.
Yeah,
you got to sit there and just concentrate.
That too.
And
that
lunchtime is the only time I can really do that.
Yeah. If you miss 30 seconds or 45 seconds or something, you can miss a big point. And because they're very subtle when they come in, right? Even without name drops, right? It's just but what they're talking about are their the reasons and what's going on, right? Their drives, they get mentioned really fast. And if you're not paying attention and building these characters with them, and you just miss a little bit, you're gonna miss. I have to have the captions.
I've said it before. Like when I say I hang on every word, that I'm literally hanging on every word, every scene, because again, it's acted so well, it's shot so well, and the dialogue and it's written like just spectacular. That even this last episode, I think it was like an hour. I'm not sure. It felt like a longer episode. I didn't even look because I was actually satisfied and I didn't even care to look. Honestly, I mean, I've never done that.
Longer episode.
It was 53 minutes, which means it was probably about 42.
Right.
Of
longer to notice
time,
that it wasn't
really good.
Cut and dry episode,
Yeah.
But so like I think when all the dust settles and the season 1 is set and done, I think actually we're on the second half of this. I think we're really going to heat up, and I'm honestly thinking that we'll get more of an excitement build up because it's like okay, we got this part out of the way. Andor still hasn't fully committed, but we know it's coming because I even watched the trailer again. I was like, man, there's still 3/4 of the trailer that we still haven't seen in the show, and it's always been opposite that, right? The Kenobi trailers were like the first 2 episodes were the entire trailers. They didn't want to give anything away and all that. Yeah. And I'm thinking like we still have the clone troopers that that we've seen walking through. We still got. I mean, there's major stuff.
I bet you everything else from the trailer is in the second half premiere.
Yeah.
I bet you everything else and the rest of it's up for grabs. That's
Yeah.
how I would see it. The clone troopers,
dude, yeah,
everything
yeah.
else we saw. Because right now we're just about to hit Empire. Like, this is it. We've seen the Y. We've seen him start up. We're about to get deep into this. We haven't even seen really stormtroopers for the most part, right?
No,
The
we haven't.
TIE fighters were the most imperial thing besides the officers.
God,
Yeah.
that was so sick.
It
was
really
great,
was.
man.
It really
I'm
was.
telling you. I've
Yeah.
mentioned this in the chat to you guys. I said, I go, before we get into everything, we'll get into it. We got all night, guys. We're here all night. So,
F it.
I said to myself today, and I brought up to Chris and Joey before you came on, Ernie, was what if you took this exact setting, these exact creators, and the feeling of this show, and you make it a Force using show, a Sith, a Jedi, whatever it is. I told him, I said, I would think that would be my favorite piece of entertainment in the history of entertainment. Like, it would supersede anything to have the Sith going. I mean, because these guys know how to bring out the littlest emotions of like Andor and his team on their cause and their reasoning behind it. And the Imperials, how they're careless and and it's just like it brings it all so home, right? And it's so Star Wars that like you really get these guys are bad, these guys are good. Imagine a Force using show of this caliber. You know what I mean? I think that would be the epitome of entertainment. I really think that these guys are nailing it for me every minute. It is so good.
Yeah, that's
so
a great
good.
point. And the thing I like about it too is how we're saying this was episode 6, which should be our finale, right? As far as everything else has been going, like other shows, maybe
like our
2,
mid-season
some are
finale,
like 8 episodes and that. But knowing that we're in the mid here, and we still got 6 more to go because this is a 12 episode. I think that makes a difference as well. Of we're building, so I know everybody says about that slow build, right? But it works. We got to get into these characters, as Chris is saying. If you miss that quick scene, you just miss an important part because they were delivering something to you. It wasn't just to be there, right?
Right.
Yep.
So I would say that too. That would be great, and maybe we get that from here on out of these longer.
If this isn't a message
per season,
it should be a message to the Disney team and Lucasfilm team to be like, hey, this is the standard on how things should be. And a lot of the Star Wars stuff is a lot of tongue-in-cheeky, more cartoony elements, because Star Wars is very PG, right? But this does not feel like a PG show at all. It just feels right. It feels really good. It feels really good.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Like,
this one was fantastic.
We'll get to this, but something pouring out one for Nemec, man. The spark that will light the fire. You know what I mean? He is it, man.
That's the words in the book, Joey. That's the opening line right there.
Yeah. So I do want to say one thing before we get into it. And speaking of the production of Star Wars moving forward, right? Some really cool news came out. And this goes not a show or anything specific. This was something that's happening on the background of Star Wars. ILM has expanded to a 5th location in Mumbai, India, meaning they have gotten so much more demand, and the demand that ILM is pushing content and Star Wars, they're adding more facilities to push out this content faster, better, because they're not just doing the volume, they're upgrading things. They're really putting in a lot more money into this whole Disney Star Wars thing. Plus, the amount of good TV that we're getting these days is actually pushed the envelope even further, because the success of like Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, Andor, this is the things moving forward that ILM is now again becoming the center of the entertainment. So they're expanding, which is a great sign for us, because we talked about this before, having them give us a whole slate of projects and then they're canceling these, canceling that. I don't think that's going to be the thing anymore. Starting 2023, moving forward, I think we're going to get into this pace and really kick it into 3rd gear here. So really exciting news on the back burner. What's going on on the production wise of it? We're going to get a lot more, which is great. So
good. Yeah, they were probably backlogged a little bit. I would kind of like all the toys, right? Where we're pre-ordering stuff for 4 years because they're backlogged in development, right?
Yeah.
It hit the same thing here. You're like, okay, I've only got so many studios I can go use. Let's add another one. Let's go and put some more
it's
stuff
great.
out.
It's fantastic.
Papa, let's go back to Tatooine.
Yep, that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna be right there. It's just look, we got
might as well
Tatooine on
build
the east side's Tatooine, the west side's Jakku. We just roll right through.
You might as well just build Tatooine at this point, right? If they're going to keep using it. So,
right.
Speaking of Tatooine, again, rumor mill time. I wish we had a graphic that had like rumor mill, red alert. I was surfing around stuff. I kind of look for news and tidbits here and there, and I came across Star Wars Meg, which she's very good. She's I think from UK and does a Star Wars mini news podcast. Very good. So check her out when you get a chance to. So I'm going to credit her with this. And she said, this is with a grain of salt, but it seems credible. There seemed to have been a table read with Tamora Morrison, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and everybody else who was in the Book of Fett, like not just Mandalorian, plus Simon Pegg, who played Dengar. He voiced Dengar. And Hondo, the guy who voiced Hondo. I forgot his name.
But that's it's Cummings. That's Winnie the Pooh.
Cummings, yes, Cummings plus D. Bradley Baker. All these guys were in a table read, and the speculation is the Book of Fett 2. And we've kind of talked about, they've mentioned Book of Fett 2, and this screams Book of Fett 2, and it screams of what we've been talking about, what we wanted in Book of Fett, like bring in the old school bounty hunters. Let's let Boba Fett get into like this mode of bounty hunting again and team up with these old guys. So. That's exciting. Again, I just want to put it out there to plant the seeds in us to pay attention to what might be announcing soon or developing.
The Simon Pegg's funny because he won't be Dengar, right? I mean,
well, he voiced Dengar just because he voiced him.
Right. I'm saying, well, he also wasn't he Dengar Plutt? I mean, Dengar Plutt.
Unkar Plutt, yes.
Unkar Plutt.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, he could just be voicing
Ray's stepdad.
Well,
yeah, but right. in the bounty hunter world, we always go to Dengar.
Yeah, I guess I could if you're gonna CGI Dengar. But I mean,
he won't be playing. Yeah, he's a little too small. Well, I mean, we never know. You never know. But I thought it was interesting. Again, grain of salt. Maybe it'll get the creative juices of us theory crafting again on Book of Fett, or maybe it's all Mandalorian. Who knows?
Well, I mean, Hondo's due, dude. Hondo's due to show up.
That was exciting too. Yeah.
Well, I would imagine here's my thing is. I'm thinking Disney related in Batu, right?
Yeah.
He's in Batu. The Mandalorian's going to be in Batu. There's no at some point you should cross the two there, and you should cross the two in the show.
100%
since they're there, so it makes sense.
Yeah, so, a billion percent. Yeah. So let's see. Miss Sunflower saying heard about that Thrawn casting. Which one is this? Did I miss something?
It's Mickelson. Another report came out that it was pretty much done, but it's another report.
That's on your wish list.
Oh, he's number 2. He's number 2. If it's not Matt Smith, okay. Look, Mickelson was my first pick for a long time until Matt Smith, and I seen him until The Crown, and at The Crown was when I was switched over. And I was like, no, Matt Smith is totally going to be Thrawn.
It's either Matt Smith or Riot.
Yeah,
right.
seriously,
point,
dude. Yeah,
I can't see anybody else playing Thrawn, dude. Can't see it.
That table read, I don't know 100% if it was in Oxford or not. I'll have to look into like more where that table read was, but I don't think it was Oxford. I think it was.
But that would be cool, regardless. And if they're getting started on it on a table read, good to go. I mean, they learn their lessons pretty quick. If something doesn't work, they'll adjust. And they know what didn't work last time.
Yeah. There is room for there is room to do a 180 on Boba Fett. There really is. Ernie,
Morrison has said it himself. He's we need to get back down to warrior Boba Fett type thing. So that's what we're gonna see. I don't want to just don't overdo it. There's a fine line, right? Between hey, we got Boba Fett who's a fierce warrior and Boba Fett who's being a puss going through a midlife crisis over here after the Sarlacc. Which one do we get? Just find the middle ground and we're fine.
Yeah. Cliff is saying, "Poor Ashley. Everyone gets to do live action, but her, yeah."
See, and I think she should be the flashback Ahsoka to when they're young, and she's
a younger version.
Yeah, totally.
And that would be great. That would be awesome.
There's a picture of Scott and I with her, and she is that size. Like literally, she should be little.
Yeah.
Little snips.
Yeah. Well, cool. So, mid-season finale came of Andor. Let's get into that because again, I've been all in since the opening credits of this series, and in a lot of different ways, of course. So we finally get into the heist, what they've been building up, and what I wanted to kind of like go and just kind of open talk the character choices and stuff, and we have some screenshots to go and pinpoint. So if there's specific scenes that you guys want to explore, let me know so I can get around that headspace. But let's talk about Andor for a second, because now he got through this, and we called it where it's kind of like a no-brainer. Some people were gonna die, some people were gonna turn and do all these things. I think everything happened, which we kind of expected to happen. But Andor is still not fully committed. But I think with Nemec, Nemec, the kid,
Nemec. Yeah,
Nemec. I think with him was the catalyst for Andor to pursue Lucen going forward. Like, he took his money and ran kind of deal because of the end, and but the memoirs thing that Nemec gave him, as he died, and that's going to spark something in Andor, which got me very excited, because we're always saying, like, where's the switch? Where's the switch? He's a hired mercenary. I know he is doing this thing, but where's the switch?
It's gonna be right there, because they had that speech in the beginning, right? He gave him that speech to talk about when he can't sleep, he writes, man. And he writes his thoughts and how he wrote about him the night before, and should what are the mercenaries' place in a rebellion, and what a cool talk that was with him. Right, with them, and that's when you're like, at that point, that's the first scene in the show this week.
It is,
and that's when you're like, yeah, they're killing this kid. Like, he drinks the juice totally. He is rebellion through and through. He is, he is there. I mean, it's not the most, I love it type of picture, but I mean, he's deep talking in this part, right? And meaning everything he says. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, and the back and forth between this is like, Andor has given him some pretty much raw advice, right? Like, all you having this big idea of what you want to do, you mean nothing to them. So it kind of should reinforce his, Nemec's, fight. It's like, it's even more of a reason to get into this fight in a way, like a rebellion stuff. And
even at the end of that talk, Nemec was like, you know what? I don't care your reason for being here. I'm just glad you're here, because he knows they weren't going to win without him.
He saw. I think he's the only one in that group that saw Andor as a bonus to a good addition.
Yeah, since the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm. And him just like I said, the whole memoirs thing and writing it down, and then choosing the mercenary, the hired gun, because he saw a spark in Andor. He saw where Andor could lead, where these guys probably are just soldiers, right? So, it's very meaningful, and I'm hanging on every word. I'm watching this. I'm watching Andor grow as a character from where we started to is now, and that's why I'm appreciating this kind of slower pace and really taking the time and really marinating his character. Because sometimes when it's too fast, like, hey, I'm a rebel now, it's like, wait a second, let's go back. It can't be that big of a switch. We had that problem with Anakin turning from Anakin to Vader on a dime like that. Like, I killed Mace Windu. What do you want me to do? Okay, now you're Darth Vader. And it was like, wait, this is too fast. This is too fast. It just seems too quick. So I'm appreciating this kind of momentum.
You had a problem with that.
I did. It was too fast.
It was fine.
We needed 5 more movies to explore why Anakin.
Jesus Christ. That's why we got Clone Wars. Is because
still on that soapbox.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. but you know what I mean, right? I mean, it took like 6 episodes to get to this point where he's even considering it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, that could have been like a movie, like the first part of a trilogy is what that could have been. Really, is your first setup, and here we go into the second part now, and I guess the third part would be season 2. But
yeah.
I'm loving the whole setup of the beginning of all of these, because, I mean, to me, I get what you're saying, the growth of Cassian Andor, right? But we're really seeing this rebels groups and factions being put together for the Rebel Alliance. That's what I find so fascinating about it, is like, how did we get here? Because in Solo, when she took it and said, you don't know what this is going to do, like, I'm hoping we get a callback, to that of her and maybe what she did or what she was a part of.
We ran through the Enfys Nest money, or Enfys Nest helped us get this started, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Because now they're going to be at a point of, okay, here we are. Like, we've made our stamp, and I love to see this part, because we're seeing the Empire, the way that things are ran, what they're doing to people and places, like all around too. Like that last one, like literally, you know, when they're taking over that hotel and running the town, that's going to be theirs now, and you know that's what happened like on Lothal and everything else. So
I was just
to
going to
see
say
it,
at the same time, it's happening at the same time as
of what they're doing, and to hear what they did to the villagers and everything right now, of, you know, that large number to this tiny group, haha. It just gets to you like, you bastards. Like,
on purpose. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They had thousands coming here, but we put up some bars on the way, made it comfortable for them. You know, they're down to like 60.
To see all that they've gone through and everything too, we're getting this growth of everything.
Yeah,
and I think that's what a lot of people need to understand. You know, of the ones that are like, oh, it's slow, or I just really can't get into it. It's like, give it a chance.
This is the show. Like, again, you have to look beyond the explosions and let's see the in between. And like you said, we're getting the Empire, and they're basically their attitude of moving forward and how they're oppressing people, how they don't care they don't even care about themselves, really. I mean, it's all about them trying to one up and get ahead.
It's a job, and then most of them don't even give a shit. It's a job, and they're just doing what they do to move on. Like what's the guy? I left my notes in the other room. I'm not going to go get him. But the big guy that couldn't button his thing, right?
Yeah,
his whole gig was to get promoted and move up and move out.
He wants out of there.
He just wanted to get out. That's all. Him and his family. He wants to move.
It was interesting that they showed his family in this and how like kind of vulnerable he is, but also like, let's do this. Let's get through this day, because now I'm going to put my transfer papers. We're getting the hell out of this.
We don't see Imperial families a lot, right? Hardly at all.
No.
Besides negative stuff like Hux and his family and things like that, right?
Right.
So this is pretty neat to see this side of it, to know they do have a vulnerability. They can have families, because that got mentioned in there too. In the ISB room when the colonel or whatever, he's all,
that's right.
None of you guys are going home. Call your families. Call everybody. Blah blah blah. So, whoa.
How many jobs have you had that your boss? Oh, I couldn't stand that. I would get so depressed. But
call your families. But they have families, you know. So we're humanizing the Empire again, but what needs to be, because they can't all be villainous, right? All the millions of them can't, even if they're on the nastier side of their morality or just people, right?
It's an ideology. I think it's an ideology that is shared through billions and billions of Imperials. But when it gets down to like that dirt and grit, that will change people. Like Dedra is not on the floor. She is seeing things from the sky, so she's all in, and she can move pieces around without seeing the harm on destruction and stuff like that. Like and then you have what's his name, the one who went to his aunt's house, right? Aunt and uncle's, or his mom's house. And
Cyril.
Cyril, where now he's been in the dirt right now, but he's got a vengeful thing about Andor. I think he's going to go after him, but he's seeing this kind of like the blood and guts of what's happening. So there could be a shift there too. It could be where might not going after Andor. He might be like going to either join him or something. Well, that'll come later. But so there's like two different ideologies. There's the Imperial, where everything's in order, nice and neat and clean corners, and then there's the grunts that's where the Imperial has the jobs of like just their fodder. You know, if they get out of line, just don't put them on Mimban, you know, and like as a mud trooper, you know. Let's see here. Cliff is saying, do we see any issues with Andor and season 1 of Rebels both taking place 5 years before? No, because just like Ernie said, they're paralleling each other themselves about how the Empire is oppressing Lothal, how it's oppressing Adani, right? And like how it's like just taking people and just like traditions are going out the window, events are going out the window, and it's all about moving one place to another.
Like you said, it's happening quick.
No, it's a big galaxy, so that, that's happening in a lot of different places. We're just getting views of each one. So you get an animated version and a live action version, but it will cross next season. Not this season. It won't cross this season.
Right.
But we're going to see Hera, Syndulla, and Chopper and what have you.
So this is like what Chris is saying. Andor feels a little younger rebellion than Rebels. Yes. So the Rebel Alliance is a major thing. The term alliance, because even Mon Mothma said, or Skarsgård's character even said, there's pockets here and here and here that eventually we're going to round them. Or Mon Mothma said it in Rebels.
It was him asking. It was Andor asking Rael, He's a, what are you? He's a, are you
Right, yeah.
partisan? Are you
Partisan.
are you alliance? Are you whatever?
Yeah.
Rebellion.
But I think Mothma said it in Rebels also about getting all these factions together as an alliance. That's why you have the Rebels. The Rebel Alliance is important to know.
What's interesting is I think for my whole ever, right? I assumed that the rebellion was going on, honest to God, for the whole 19 years. Right?
Same.
Right. So, but then when
Yeah.
you think about it, the very first crawl in episode 4, it says they just struck their first victory.
Right.
Right. So you're
On
like,
Scarif,
oh, you don't
right.
you don't think about this rebellion and the alliance really just came to be. It was a young fledgling. In this 5 years, it became it. So there was 14 years of no rebellion.
Yeah.
Like there were
because remember, the people who they were Republic turned into the Empire, and so they are the Empire. So it's got to be within. The changing within takes time, and that's when the sediment grows. It's like, look, I see what's happening. This has got to change. You know, Padme saw it through it for the first one. She's like the first one to see through what the.
You know what? It's actually really good they got rid of that deleted scene in episode 3.
Oh, the round table scene?
Because that really would have made them look stupid if they know that they were fighting together for 14 years in a rebel alliance and couldn't win anything. 19 years until they got their first victory.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
So that would have. I'm actually glad they got rid of that. So that scene could take place now, 5 years before A New Hope, almost have that meeting of the minds type thing.
Yeah.
Although I still think the kind of the pieces are there. Like the circle's been there for a little while. Rail, Bail, and
they talk and they feel each other out, and it's like, and the sentiment grows, and like something's got to be done. Yes, something's got to be done, and then, hey, guess what? I've been funding this little cell over here. Oh, really? I know someone who's, and it gets together and it grows in these pockets, and I think this series is doing a very good job at that sentiment about like just the complacency of what the Senate turns into. 15 years or 10 years after the formation of it, and it's just like it's working. Let's see. If Disney sells the copy of his manifesto, Nimic, I'm buying it. I'm buying it too, and that will probably spark a real rebellion in this country too. So,
well, that old saying that they said, I think it was last episode, how they said, who was it that what's her name said, everyone's rebellion is different, or well, how did she say it?
Everybody has a different rebellion.
Yeah, that's
everyone has a different rebellion.
Yeah.
That is so true, especially when you watch this episode, because everyone's got different motives. Everyone's in the rebellion, but you can see everyone's got different motives for it. You got people that got motives of just trying to get free from the Empire. Then you got others that are doing it for revenge. Then you got others that are doing it just to get rich.
Right.
So that saying,
soldiers, soldiers are soldiers, right?
Yeah, like you said, it's almost like a parallel, like what you're saying with the Empire. You got some that are just all gung ho with Empire. Then you got some that are just doing it because it's benefiting them and their family.
Yeah,
it's keeping their family, good benefits, good retirement.
Yeah.
Then you got other ones that are just like they were forced to join. So
yeah. Well, you're right, because you know what, the rebellion here actually, and both sides now we're getting into the grays. Right? Because again, we always talk about the Empire as the bad guys. The Empire is the government.
Yes.
Right? They're not the villain. The rebellion are technically the bad guys here.
Right.
But look at the gray. We have some screenshots, right, of what they're doing to the kid and the wife and everything. You've got guns pointed at little kids' heads in his bed in his living room. Yeah. Right? You've got the family tied up and gagged in another room. That's hard.
I'm trying to find him. Sorry.
I know. I was trying to talk through it, bro. There was no way to keep that sentence going without him.
The pictures are so small, kids.
Yeah, I mean, like, good lord, man, what you doing?
I'm trying. Just go. Stall more.
Stall. So yeah, but I mean, that's what's giving us this now. No, dude, that's the fat suit. Come on,
I'm getting there.
You're killing me, dude.
Fat suit.
That too was funny though.
It was funny. Well,
What'd you do to my belt?
I love the fact that it's compressed. Maybe you expand it. But what's better is you need to come look at this. She's all, I'm helping our son. He's 12. He can get dressed. I'm like, dumbass. You're like 53.
Yeah.
Right? What a jerk. All right, here we go.
Me.
A gun to this dude's head. Not even to the wife's head or anything.
Nope,
or just near it. That's on his head. That's Imperial. That's bad guy stuff. That's villain stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That's not rebel good guy stuff. So what's neat about the show is it shows us the grays. Right.
Yeah, it does.
That's super great. Do you have the gagged one? It should be the next picture.
That's the great thing about Rogue One and Rebels is that they are going to go there. You know,
Yeah, and but that's neat. Oh,
No,
never mind.
that was the next one.
Oh, that one was gonna tick me off too. This whole scene here with the Echo 1 is cool, by the way.
Yeah, right. Echo One is awesome.
So I kind of want to get a little backstory on why they're Echo and see if that's going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But on their mic talk, can you give it a second for somebody to answer and maybe think?
Oh yeah.
And maybe once in a while when you're on a comm that has a speakerphone, give it a break for a second because they might be hiding. You might be. It happens all the time in Star Wars, right? They're little moms.
Yeah.
Nobody has a fucking earpiece, dude. There's my one. Right? No. They're all on speakerphone constantly, like they're walking around Walmart on their own speaker. Stop it. Get a Bluetooth, guys. All of you. It's ridiculous. Because echo. Yeah, it's echo. Like, dude, give it a break for a second. Yeah. Say, Echo, come in. Have a chat with your buddy. Hey, Echo, you there? Not every second. I was like, who the hell does this? This is ridiculous. That was a dumb little move.
Yeah. But it was kind of, let's talk about Vela for a second because she hesitated there a little bit. And I wonder what the hesitation was. Like, this is her mission. This is her power moment. And she almost had to get snapped out of like the reality of what she was doing. Like she got scared or just
that's
like, are we in too deep? Can we turn, like maybe
that's
maybe I need to turn back? Or
once she gives it okay, that's it. There's no turning back.
Yeah, it's on. The whole everybody's life changes, right? This is a moment they're all waiting for, and an $80 million hit to the Empire. You know,
and that's I do want to let's do this. Let's talk about the impact of what this heist did. Okay, so yes, we're going to talk about who we lost and stuff like that, and Andor as a character, but as the overall picture of what the heist did, it set that ripple throughout the galaxy. It wasn't an isolate. It was bigger than what even Andor and the gang thought it would be doing. They were stealing money because Lucen needed funding, right? He needed money. But what it did through the Senate, through all the news outlets, through this whole thing, and the call
ISB.
to this meeting, meeting of like no one's going home. This shit just got real kind of stuff. And
he said, "Don't even sit down. This isn't a meeting."
That's right.
Like, damn.
This was probably
I can't wait to use that at work one day.
Oh,
don't even sit down. This isn't a meeting.
Don't even sit down.
I think this was probably the most. This is what got me goosebumps on this episode. The reality of what just happened.
Yeah.
And I am jumping ahead to kind of this, but like his relief. Because he's going to be fun, and the blow that he just did to the Empire.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was the funding. I think it was what you said second right there. Exactly, with the blow to the Empire. Mm-hmm. This is what we've been talking about for years, possibly him and Bale and Mon, right? And oh man, I can't believe it happened. I've been worrying, blah blah. Putting his face on. Here we go. It starts. And if this little ragtag piece of something group can do it, we can do it everywhere.
Imagine. Oh my God. And imagine the real damage we can do next, right? And that's why I think that's where Andor is going to come, seeking this guy out. Mon Mothma giving her speech about some oppressed, planet. I don't have those in front of me.
Gorham, but
yes,
but talking about it, and everybody starts reading their data pads and bouncing, right?
Yeah, to an empty Senate, by the way.
But because here's the deal:
nobody cares.
The white ones, the lit up ones, are people that I think have planets in the Senate.
Yes,
the ones that don't like since the Empire's taken over, people have dropped out of the Senate.
Yeah, right. It's a dwindling process.
Yeah,
and we talked about this a couple episodes back on the dialogue between Tarkin coming in the room and saying the Emperor has dissolved the last remnants of the Senate. We don't need them anymore. And this picture is exactly why it doesn't function anymore. People are when Mon Mothma was talking, they're uninterested. They're leaving, and then the news happens of the robbery and stuff, and that's what's creating these headlines, right? But this right here, democracy is not working. It's disinterested. Nobody cares anymore.
Nobody cares.
And that's why it was dissolved, in A New Hope. But I love the whole the last 5 minutes of the series, the episode, because it's that ripple effect, and I got goosebumps how the Empire is panicking, and we're Empire guys, right? We root for. I mean, we kind of like the darker side. I was rooting for the rebels at this point. You know what I mean? Like I really was, because I thought it was a kind of a cool ripple effect of this. Things are changing. They're too complacent. They're too comfortable in their situation, and this is really going to like the spark of the rebellion is taking fold. Now,
see, and I see it as, oh, you just pissed off the Empire. Let's go.
that too.
That's how I see it. Is now we're coming out full force.
Yeah,
He just
because
said, get everybody.
Yeah.
That's what he said, right? So
we've seen it though too. I don't think they are going to get caught. This little ragtag group.
Oh no.
Of some of them are dead and everything now.
Yeah.
Of what happened back at the base, right? Didn't they get killed and everything? Some of those ones there in the shootout when they started actually shooting it out. There's not a lot left to survive to pass on.
What's
who was doing
happen?
This or who was to
out of
blame.
this group? Out of this group, who died?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, almost everybody except Cassian, the two girls.
Yeah.
And
I'm saying even on the Empire side.
Oh yeah, right.
They had the shootout and everything. You know what I mean? They're just describing people. That's what I think is going to be so hard. Yeah, and again, why they were celebrating so much, and Marco, you said it, is this small group was able to do it. Yeah, like we did it. We're getting funded and everything.
It's gonna trigger something interesting. And again, I'm bringing up the scene again because this is very important. It's gonna trigger something because this was an internal. They know now that lieutenant guy, he was in on it. They know because there's people who quit, before the fat guy died of a heart attack, they know he was there. So that's like, they're going to start questioning, why is our own people helping these rebel cells? And now that's going to I think it's going to change the way the Empire sees their own ranks. And they might have a culling. They might have a purge
who's gonna
of
know?
Their own ranks. People, there were survivors there. The shootout, not everybody died that saw the lieutenant dude come into play, and they were shooting at. They had this thing. So I'm assuming. Let's just put it this way. I'm assuming there's people there going to report to like, it was from within. He let them in, and they were dressed like us. And how did they infiltrate us, even though it was a bank basically? And I think that's going to, like I said, start a purge. And that's where we're going to get to that hard-lined imperial sentiment that we knew from Empire and Return and all that stuff. It's there now, right? But it's still a little lax. Like there's a lot of like, just let it go, complacency, blah blah blah. The whole point of what's his name's character in the first 2 episodes. I'm sorry,
Cyril.
Thank you. Cyril's attitude was complacency is going to be a problem. And this is going to prove it. Now it's like, you guys let our own lieutenant turn on us. You're going, and then these guys dressed as troopers and they infiltrated our own ranks. Like, this is too complacent. Now we're really gonna they're gonna do the Saddam Hussein thing and purge within. That's what I'm expecting coming through. They're gonna start purging their own people to get more hard-nosed, more hard-lined.
And keep only
more chain codes, more security. Yeah. I don't know, man.
The most imp of the imps, right?
Yeah,
just keep them
yeah. Who knows, man? But yeah, it's great. That ripple effect was so good. I think that's when I fist pumped it at the end. Besides the beautifulness of the episodes and the TIE fighters and everything, I fist pumped going like
the TIE scenes. You guys, some of those scenes that we put up there.
Did you give it a Breakfast Club? You just, you just waited. Yeah. As the music played out, I did too. I was so excited, dude. I thought oh God, this was amazing.
It really was.
The interior of this, we saw TIE fighters. This was awesome. That. I mean,
such a clean shot.
Yeah, it was.
If we had any questions of how the pilots get in and out, there's no more. Which I didn't think we did, but
but that was awesome.
I mean,
this whole episode was this whole show is greatly shot, right?
Yeah.
It's so well done all the way from acting to the story to the cinematic of it. And them running and rushing, just it got me like holding my breath, right? Like, oh no. And then to see him like when he climbed that ladder and he jumped down and popped it open, I was like, ooh, that's badass.
Yes,
and it's still like so exciting, like, oh my God, that was amazing. And then just the getting ready inside, and you get that shot of that. Oh man, the helmet and everything.
Actually, to talk about that and things popping up, Marco, can you show me that picture of the bunker? The girls were in the bunker real quick. I want to talk about cool things popping up and what. Okay, I want to congratulate Lucasfilm on their first urination on screen. It was a piss and 2 shakes. Right?
it was.
If you did not pay attention for the whole thing, this son of a bitch gave it 2 shakes. What? I have got a shit and somebody peeing in Star Wars within 6 episodes. I am good to go now.
And sex.
And sex. We've had sex.
Yeah. A lot of firsts.
Oh, we did have our lesbian couple today on this one as well. Right?
We had a cigarette.
We got a lot of stuff going on.
A cigarette? Yeah.
We had a
This
cigarette.
show has really showed us the whole
Yeah.
other side of
Very
I wonder what
adult.
Star Wars is like. And it's
Right.
here it is.
Yeah, very adult. This one
Yeah.
is.
They
So-
were getting
You can
scared,
take that
right?
off now.
Hiding
There
it.
you go.
They were getting
I just-
scared. He's going for a really long time.
Yeah, like dude.
Like Austin Powers.
Just-
More than 3 times, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Let it go.
So, I mean, they were scared in the bunker like they were going to get caught. And then all of a sudden it was just dudes at work talking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me take a piss real quick.
They were. Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then that was it, you know? It
Well,
was crazy.
The cigarette scene was the communications, the Imperial communications guy. When the lieutenant came up to him, he was on the balcony smoking. He flicked it off the balcony real fast and turned around, which is great. You got it's like real fast. It's real fast. He didn't inhale. He had it lit. He just like flicked it off and then turned around and like, you know, what are you doing? And that whole shot of the eye with the
Oh, dude.
event happening, and then all the Imperials and all the locals were staring at it.
I wish I'd have got a
As
shot of
he-
that because that is cool because the Imperials were smiling at it.
Yeah,
Right? And
no,
you don't really see that ever where Imperials smile unless they're hurting somebody. Right? You can get like an Emperor cackle smile like, ha ha ha, come to me.
right.
But no, you got a bunch of soldiers down here, right? Everything off, looking up, smiling with the
Yeah.
locals.
Yeah.
Which was cool with Walter White and his crew because that old man looked just like
that was totally Walter
Dude,
White.
I was
yeah.
so excited for that scene and thinking again, rebellion. And you have to stop and tell yourself, it's just starting. These are small
Yes,
factions.
just
This is a big
starting,
job because
Mhm.
I thought those locals were going to turn around and kill them.
I thought something was going to kick
this
off.
was yes.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
this was like bigger than what we expected. Right? I
Right.
really did. I really thought
I was
the
expecting it.
locals were going to turn. Oh my God, we just took over a base type thing. Like this is huge, but it's not. I mean, this was huge, but I was so excited into this episode. My brain was already turning like, oh my God, they're going to kill everybody right now. Like, this is crazy because it kind of looked like that. The way
the
they were
villagers
looked
have
like
been like
something
the
was
Ewoks of Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did feel and look like something was going to pop off, but that tribal leader dude was just like burning the gift. That he's like,
Oh,
"Screw
dude,
these guys."
I love
Yeah.
the fact. I love the lieutenant. He gets the snotty ass response from him once. Then he goes up and gets a different. He gives a worse response to the big boss, and he translated it as the first shitty response, right? And he took that one. He's
Yeah.
like, you know what? That one was a little rough. Let's give him my shitty response.
Yeah.
Right. It was pretty good. I was like, oh, and somebody in the crowd understood it.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? Because somebody went, what?
Yeah.
Like they didn't.
Like
they
you
didn't
didn't
really
translate
catch
that wrong.
that.
That's not what he said. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I do want to point out there was one cool thing.
This is their welcome. They're hey, make them feel welcome. Just keep it quiet.
Yeah,
this
I
is
know.
their
Put
welcome,
guns on
dude.
them.
Yeah.
They get 6 guys standing up with lasers pointing at their faces. Welcome.
Yeah.
Come see the eye, jackasses.
This dude on front
On your land.
Tyramon.
Tyramon.
Tyramon. Yeah, whatever.
We find out he was an ex-stormtrooper. It was
Yeah.
really cool. But he was also responsible for killing the family of what's her name?
I think that was just in general stormtroopers.
Oh, I thought his unit is that's why.
No,
that's
he
what
said
made him
he
defect.
said he said he was a stormtrooper. And he looked
Right.
at him. He's all, "Yeah, you should have seen when Cintas found out." He's all, "They
Oh,
killed they
because
killed her
stormtroopers
family."
did it. Oh, okay.
Stormtroopers in general, I think.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's but I mean
Oh.
we're getting a little bit of
Okay.
backstory here, but
I thought the same thing on the first watch, and then I
Okay,
watched
that-
them all. I'm all, okay because that was pretty close to the.
yeah, because I was
a
like,
little close.
and she didn't strangle him in his sleep. You know,
I can't wait for that Target exclusive Clem. You know that.
Oh, it's
gonna
coming
be
out. Yeah, yeah.
with the hat and the coat. It is. You know it is, Joey.
Yeah.
It
You know
it could
is.
just be in the Christmas set with the ones Marco gets.
Yeah.
I got them all. I'm getting them all. I don't care.
He's dressed like an elf.
He already is.
We get this guy's true motive.
Steve.
Again, here's the someone's. He didn't really turn on them. I mean, he was all in, but he supposed. I mean, he said he made up basically everything, and he's telling Aldi. Andor, like, look, why don't we just split the 80 million that he thinks that we stole,
Yeah.
and you go my way, you go your way, and that's it, And this is the kind of coming to Jesus moment that Andor has, right? He could have ran with it, because I mean, at this point or before this point, he was probably would have taken that bet. He's all for him, kind of like, I'm just here as a hired. I don't really believe in your cause, but seeing what they just went through and what this guy's proposing, got this reaction out of him, and Andor killed him.
And really not much thinking about it.
No, just killed him.
Yeah, Andor's trigger happy, dude.
And yeah,
he's already killed 2 people pretty cold blooded.
Yeah,
and we know he does it in Rogue One. It's not like this is new to him. This dude's gonna be? He's not a super good guy.
Right.
Even if he kills people for the right reason. He pulls a gun a lot. Look at this dick.
Yeah, he does. He's again, he's
walking in. He didn't know.
Yeah. But he told him the truth, which was kind of cool too. That's what I liked about this, was like I'm digging Andor's character even more.
That's the other thing. He's been telling the truth the whole time.
Yeah,
even in that last one. I'm here for money. I'm getting paid. That's why I'm here.
I think she believed him at the end. Hey, he wanted to run. I killed him. He wanted to run and gun and leave you guys for dead. I'm just taking my 30 grand. That's it. That's what I was promised, and I'm leaving.
And even gave up to Kyber. If you were being dirty, you wouldn't have given it to Kyber.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that was key for Vel to trust Andor as this is the truest one of our group. Which is a great scene, by the way, too. That whole turn was great. It's planting the seeds of Andor to take a real hard look, because my prediction, he's going to go home. He's going to find his way back to wherever he was in the first episode, because he's got to meet up with B2 and everybody else.
Fennec, yeah.
And I think he's going to be realizing, like, look, there's a bigger world out there that I'm drawn towards, and these people are dying, and then there's also people like that dude that wanted to cut and run. So I think Andor is going to become like the rebel, soon.
Or could it be even more so when he returns, how the Empire is set up and taken over?
Oh,
that's exactly what he's going to walk into.
Right?
That's what we're going to. It's nothing but stormtroopers.
Right. And I leave for this little amount of time and look at what they did.
Yeah.
And maybe he feels responsible for what happens.
Oh, his mom's probably dead.
Oh my God! Yes.
Oh yeah. She is.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's always
and then he reads that manifesto.
Yeah.
See, Cliff, this is what we're trying to get the poison out, Cade. All those bad things that happened in the past Star Wars, Andor's fixing. So everybody should be applauding Andor, because Cliff is saying, I think that guy said McClunky before Andor shot. So it was all good, clean kill. No, cool play.
He's out of here.
I already wanted a new shirt, Marco, that said Cassian shot first.
Yeah.
So,
every time.
Yeah, every time.
There you go.
Cassian always with the little triangle up, right?
Yeah.
Always shoots first.
Yeah.
Bondage Brittany, hey, what's up? He had 3 main choices at that point. Go along with him, pretend to go along with him, both resulting in likely backstab, death situation. Because I think that guy would have killed Andor too. But as soon as they got on,
yeah.
Again, and telling the truth. He said, "Well, what's going to happen when we get there?"
It would have been the Dark
Knight.
Knight.
You to this place.
Yep. It'd have been the Dark Knight Joker situation, right?
And that's
I killed a guy on the bus driver. That's how
right.
It works,
Yes.
I think Andor had no choice right there. It's like, okay, we cut and run, but you're gonna kill. How do I trust you that you're not gonna take my 40 million and whatever? But he did tell him about this moon that's inhabitable. He did tell him about these things. So,
who was Woody Harrelson's character?
Come on, Tobias Beckett.
Thank you, Beckett. That really reminded me of the Solo scene again. On when he had to shoot him, and he does this without thinking immediately.
Yeah.
And
You're
Beckett and Val had another cell that they were helping. I mean, that's out there. They didn't know what they were doing, but they were off by themselves, right?
Yeah.
Getting into the mud troopers there. That's how Solo was there. Supposedly he was supposed to be too. There's a lot of tie-ins there. But when I saw him pull that quick,
really is.
Yeah, when I saw him pull that quick, I really thought of him. Yeah. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, you're right. There are a lot of comparisons, Cassian to Solo. I mean,
there
Han.
is.
He's just a little bit harder core than Han. That's all. He's just quicker to kill. Not even quicker, because he killed Greedo pretty quick.
Here's the big difference, and we've been saying it. He keeps telling the truth where Han makes up stories.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
Exaggerates.
Even
although Cassian can lie too. You saw how fast he was in that first episode.
Yes, to do that. But when it comes down to it, he's putting it out there. Here you go. Yeah. This is the way it is. So where Han makes up a story where even Chewie calls him out on it. That's not how it happened.
That's the funny thing is that guy that was the one that wanted to go half of them. He was the one that stole all his weapons from him because he was like, I can't trust you. You're the accusing him of being the one that's in it just for himself. And all along, this guy was the one that was.
Do you think it was his plan the whole time, Joe? Like, do you think that was his plan the whole time to double cross if it succeeded, or was it that moment like? We barely escaped. I don't think this can go any further because it's so dangerous moving forward. Maybe he made that decision. Like maybe I should just cut and move and run.
I think so because that guy gave a vibe throughout from that time when he was checking Andor while he was asleep. From that point on, I had a bad vibe about that guy. Like he's in it for something else. He's
the one who's going to turn on him if anybody. Yeah. Check this out. Like heartbreaking scene, but. This is the big difference between this show and how it's done and stylized. Like this is in any other show, like we kind of seen this in other things, it would come off a little cheesy. But why did this work? Like it worked. Completely. And the dude, even when he died and he was putting the sheet over it, the doctor patted him on the shoulder and just kind of had that sigh and it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And heartbreaking, right? Like this was the freaking awesome, man. I can't gloat over it enough. I'm sorry.
It was fantastic from the moment, and not the moment, but when he got crushed by the money.
Yeah.
And he didn't die. Dude, that was like, I was,
yeah.
Oh, man.
He's going to be paralyzed for the rest of the show?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So too.
Well, he's not moving the rest of the show for sure.
Right. But to die of that injury, it just was like, in my head, as I'm watching it, I'm like, this kid has to die because of the intro of this
exactly.
of the episode.
They set him up to die.
Yeah, and what it's going to ignite in Andor. It was important for him to Andor to see this kid die for the cause and be the one that chosen to bring his manifesto.
This was Coulson dying in the Captain America cards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But man, it's just and again, going back because I've watched it twice now, and it's still it's a beautiful episode, beautiful, action-packed. Everything came to a head. The ripple effect, the Empire. Man, I what else? What else is there? Like this felt like a true mid-season finale to kick off the next 6. But I don't think it's going to be a build-up to the finale anymore. I think the build-up is now, and from the next 6 episodes, it's going to continue the incline.
Oh yeah,
myself.
And it's going to set it up just for next season, and we end at Rogue One. I mean,
and remember, next season, guys, is the 3 episodes time jump, a year in between to bring it up to the moments of Rogue One. So
which is funny because that's what we go through in House of the Dragon. I talk about all the time, right?
Yeah.
That's how we're doing it just like that, which is a little jarring sometimes. Well, it works. Yeah. It does work, but it's jarring in the first episode. So we got it. But they won't have that because everybody will be adults pretty much.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we won't have the jarring change of people.
I think the time, the stuff in Andor, because they said there is going to be a time jump in the next 6. Maybe from
every
now
3 episodes. Yeah, like you said, it's this is 5 years before. Then it's 4, 3, 2, 1 to the day. Yeah, he goes on the mission.
But even in this season, we're going to have a time jump. They said a year. So I'm thinking from today's episode to next week, I think we're going to have our time jump, our first one, Andor on and doing stuff. So, and that's where instead of like House of Dragon, how it's like really jarring and stuff, he's seen kids and different characters. We're going to see different attitudes and different energy.
I don't think it'll be big yet unless it's mid episode because we've got to get back to the planet.
Either they just have them on the planet. I don't know if the show will do that, or
a year later. You think it'll take them a year to get back?
Yeah,
no. Actually, that makes sense. No. That gives the Empire time to really take over.
Yeah, and he's there. He's already like kind of weaved himself back into life. We find his mother's dead. We find all his friends are dead. We find the Empire's everywhere. But now Andor is running, gunning, and sneaking, and then he goes off, and it could be established already, rather than a verbatim, step by step. But we'll see. It's interesting, man. Like, dude,
I dig it.
I didn't even think about his. Yeah, I didn't even think about his mom like dying.
Dude, that's
Ernie was like, yeah, I know. Now it's like, well,
toast.
yeah, that's the whole because.
And his best friend, the dude that saved him, is somehow going.
Everybody.
Yeah, he's
it's
not
just like Luke
Left.
Skywalker. Like Luke Skywalker. This parallels everything, right? So
Bix and his buddy and his mom are all toast.
Yeah, Luke wouldn't have stepped foot off Tatooine unless his family was killed.
Ezra
Same
with
thing
his
with
parents.
Andor. Yeah, Andor, and now it's like he sees what went on. He's gonna see the Empire kill everybody, they took over that whole town. It's no longer a security force. They're now Andor is like, I'm in. Like that's it. They're done. There's no questioning. I know who to contact now. I know who these people are, and I'm going to go fight. So
okay, state of mind wise with Andor, where do you think he's at state of mind wise right now?
Right at the end of this episode.
At the end of this episode,
I want to go home.
Well, I think at first it was to cut and run. Like we did it. I did our thing, but he was handed that manifesto. Yeah. Now that meant everything to Andor right then and there because even his demeanor changed. And I think from there, yes, he left, but I think he's realizing now there's something bigger going on versus just a pocket of resistance, just like the Empire is knowing now. It's not just a little bit here and here. It's a bigger picture. And
okay, so
yeah,
do you think something happens, something snaps him because he either reads that manifesto or he's sitting there pondering on what he's been through that snaps him into going hardcore into the rebellion, or does something like
in a combination
happen to him?
I think he's going to get back to his planet. He isn't going to read the manifesto at first.
No,
he's going to leave it, right? Go back to the planet, see his mom's gone, whatever. Get B2. Him and B2 will be doing something, and B2 will open it up and read it. Somehow, because B2's kind of that kind of droid, right? That would be kind of a busy body and into people's shit, and we've introduced him for a reason, right? Somehow he'll get in there, and he reads stuff off. He was reading the news to Andor when he came in.
He was
a couple episodes ago. So he'll read some passage from there, and it'll get Andor going. Yeah, and that's and then if I was thinking, that's
funny. And then of course, like we said, the death of his mom and everything else around him changing.
Those two things, the death of the mom and that manifesto, will be the two things that drive him.
And Plasty has a good point. He still was looking for a sister. At the beginning.
I forgot all about his sister.
Yeah,
yes.
I was about to bring it. Do you think we're going to? She's going to come in the fold of this, or no?
I don't know. I don't think right away. But the other thing that we're forgetting is the reason he left. He's a wanted man for those murders. So he just can't show back up on the planet.
You're right.
He's going to have to hide on the planet to get B2 to find out info about that. So I think that's even more, right? Like of getting him.
Which I guess is doable because we deal with that in Rebels all the time, right? Because Ezra's wanted, Kanan's wanted, and they're always back and forth off Lothal, and they're wanted on Lothal. So I guess we kind of have precedent for that. But yeah, you're right. They in that city, that town, in those places, he's going to have to hide pretty well. It's funny that he's going to have trouble getting back on a planet when he can walk right through a base whenever the hell he wants.
And that's probably how he's going to get back on the planet is disguise himself as another Imperial.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking, though, is on his planet in his home is where the killings were. That's where that little thing went out to all of the places there. That's why. So these people of the Empire there didn't recognize him or know him because they don't know what's going on.
Oh, I just mean in general. How
he can walk on. Yeah.
But no, you're right. You're totally right. When he's there, he has to be a trooper. He has to have a bucket on.
Gonna have to do something.
Yeah, it's another figure out to buy. See,
that's your Target exclusive.
That's the Wal. No, that's the Walmart.
That's
exclusive.
the Walgreens.
He does absolutely everything Han does, so he has to have a stormtrooper outfit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Selfie series.
Yeah, he will.
He will. Because everything else.
This funny clip is saying, is this the first heist with no droids? Yeah, it seems like it. And of course, nobody had a bad feeling either. No Wilhelm scream either. So.
Oh, you know what? This episode sucked.
I didn't hear it. Honestly.
What's her name had a bad feeling when she was hetating to.
Well, I guess
but she didn't say it.
Non-implied bad feeling. Okay, we'll go with that because if they could put it in BB-8,
you can't infer a bad feeling.
Yeah, well,
you can't.
They gotta say it.
Yeah, they have to say.
yeah,
it, man.
if BB-8 can beep and whistle a bad feeling and make that canon, and be
The
like,
time
no,
before,
then-
he said he was getting paid. He all said, if you don't have a good feeling about this, then don't do it.
yeah, if they
So-
think they have a bad feeling about this, is it canon? Like, is
Yeah,
it?
like
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
is
you
this?
gotta be like halfway said, I got a bet. And then
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah,
They start humming
Yeah.
or looking at their.
yeah,
It doesn't count.
There it is.
Gotta be
Yeah,
a
I
few
don't know.
no
We have to
droids
go
in
explore that
cartoons.
with no droids. I
No,
think
because what's his
You
name was
usually-
always there.
You usually chop, yeah. You
The
usually
chopper.
need it. You usually they would paint him black to put him in a base.
that's
Yes.
right.
It's like they fall for everything, dude. They put BB-8 in a trash can.
Yeah, I said put BB-8 in the trash can. Like, we don't have
Oh,
droids like that. Go, yeah.
Humans are dumb.
Oh man, but yeah, I think again we're promised some really cool stuff, man, going forward.
Yeah,
And I'm sure I missed a bunch, but you know what?
For the most part, we grab.
If you're listening to this on replay, let us know in the comments too, like, you know, stuff we talked about, and kind of like know how you guys consume this too. Is it something that should be a bingeable? I think that's a good poll question. I'll put that up in our community post. Do you binge watch this? Is Andor a bingeable thing, or are you satisfied with weekly thing? That'd be a good question, of course. And also let us know in the comments, you know, how you feel about the first 6 episodes, how it's shaping up, you know, and what's gonna happen. Andor is going to survive, obviously, but I mean, you know, I think it's more important to me that I'm seeing the galaxy change is equally important as Andor. It's just so exciting.
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
it's
even
exciting
though
and-
we know the end result, but yeah,
it's neat to me to see the back end of it, because we did see a lot of it in Rebels, but this
Yeah.
we're gonna get the
Well,
the building
we've
part,
talked
right?
about
The
this.
backbone and that kind
Yeah.
of thing, and that's the cool part, and I do dig that.
Yeah, we've talked about like that whole verbiage of A New Hope. You know, the Emperor is not in A New Hope, but he's mentioned, and he just dissolves the Senate, and that was like a fleeting mention. And then we get the prequels, like, hey, it's the Senate's this big thing, Clone Wars, Rebels, all that stuff, and then it's like now we're getting that plugged in our little time frame, right? So I think that's really cool to pull those out.
Yeah,
You know.
I agree.
And Deidre is
that
on-
It's this
is-
young. That is this young is the
Yeah.
wild part, right? So
And Deidre is in for a big promotion. She's going to head this whole thing. They're going to come to her and be like, you saw this coming. She goes, yeah, I did. I saw it. I seen all these pockets. It means one big thing.
Saw it
And yeah, she's going to be dangerous. Very dangerous.
blast
Yeah,
the Addicto there. That's how I like to do it too.
I'm the same way, week by week, and then rewatch binge. Always a rewatch binge. In fact, I was telling the guys too, I was watching Kenobi just to kill time and stuff, and I was bored, man. Like, I was bored without Vader and Kenobi. I was, and it's the only reason because it's probably because everything else I've been watching.
Yeah,
That's the House of Dragons.
That's the problem.
and
That's
things-
the
yeah.
problem. None of the, and I hate to say it, dude. I've liked all the Star Wars shows for the
Yeah.
most part, right? Boba Fett being my least favorite, but I still like it.
I enjoy it. Yeah.
They're not very rewatchable as a series. I'll pull episodes out here and there.
Yeah,
Right? If
yeah.
I want to watch them, but I don't usually I don't even put Mandalorian on as a watch in the background. I have Game of Thrones going right now as a watch in the background. But I'm not putting. None of these shows interest me. I'll put a movie on. I put all the movies on since the last time I put a series on.
Sure.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
It
and that's
I
the
don't
whole
get it.
thing. I started Kenobi, and I was just like, can I just get to Vader and him at the first confrontation, and then skip all the Inquisitor stuff, and then Vader and him at a second confrontation, and just end it? Because I'm just there. and
I like
think,
the Reva fight too.
Yeah, it was cool. It's just I wouldn't know. I found myself like, I want to watch Andor. I'd rather watch Andor at this point.
See, and I find
I might
Kenobi
be
more rewatchable than Andor. Andor's a better show as a whole.
Yeah,
Kenobi's more rewatchable, and I like the Leia stuff. I like the
Yeah.
Leia Kenobi banter,
Yeah.
the back and forth, the background, that stuff. Her and her dad. I love the hell out
I
of
liked
Leia in
it, but
that
it's like
series.
now it bores me for some reason. Again, it could just be now, right?
But
like,
no, you're right though, and it's. I don't think it's a knock either, and I don't want to sound like it's a knock, but that is to me too. The same way the series are all aboard of me. They're not super rewatchable.
Yeah. So we shall
That's
see,
weird.
but yeah,
That's
guys,
weird to say and still like it.
it is,
I mean,
right? Like,
it's
well, I kind of was all in after Kenobi. I was like, this is great. We're at a great time, and then
yeah.
how many? And then Cobra Kai hit, House of Dragon hit, Rings of Power, and I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay.
Oh my God. Oh my god. Oh my god. Did you guys ever, here's my one, fucking know
Oh,
that Daniel was older than Terry Silver?
No, really?
oh,
Daniel is older than Silver.
wait, the
By
characters
months.
or
And right, no,
The
no,
actors.
real life.
oh, in real life, yeah, I did know that, yeah.
Oh, I didn't
And
know that.
yes, by months. And right now, they are 60 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, they're 60 right now. Daniel and
Aw.
Silver are 60. I
didn't
saw
know
that
that.
last night in a post that came up, and I'm like, oh, this is clickbait. There's no way. Are you
Yeah.
serious? And I went and checked, dude, and I was like, oh my God.
He's older than Miyagi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ralph Macchio was
like-
like 25, 20. Oh, he was late. I mean, he looks young, so he was like
Oh,
25 in credit, wasn't he? Like,
Oh, they
He
were
made it.
peers.
I
Yeah.
just finished
Yeah.
watching the last season of Cobra Kai, and
that's right.
I hate Daniel even more.
Well,
That
I
show
did-
would be so much better without the LaRussos.
I did like
That's all
them.
it says.
At first, they were bugging me, but they did grow back on. When the lines were drawn and the teams were set, I was like, yeah, here we go, Team LaRusso. But because of who was with them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. It's because his teammates are awesome. You take Daniel out, it's still the same. I'm still rooting for that team.
Yeah, exactly.
That blew my mind, though, dude. I had no clue all this time as a kid that
He's-
in
That blew
original,
my mind. That blows my mind
Yeah.
too.
he's older.
Because then Daniel is
Terry
older
Silver.
than Miyagi was in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, since we're on
crazy.
weird
They're the
facts,
same age.
since you're on weird facts, you just figured out. I learned yesterday that the high five was invented only in 1977.
Really?
Did you? Yeah, like they know he called it a high five or had a high five. Yeah, during baseball. I swear to God. Swear to
Really?
God. I saw it. I'm all, there's no way Dusty Baker invented the high five.
Yeah, because like if you go back to any movies prior to that, I'm trying to think like
Think of a high five in black and white. You ain't gonna see
nothing.
it. Right, 1977. So check that out. Star Wars and the high five.
But when
And
did
me.
the slap ass be invented? That's the more important.
Well, it got stopped in 2021. So I know when it stopped.
Very true.
All right.
Yeah, I am older than the high five.
Wow.
Thanks, Cliff. Everybody in this
Hey.
room is older than the high five.
Nope. Same age.
Oh, you're same age, yeah.
I'm
same
I
age,
think
too.
Same
Ernie's
age.
same age, yeah.
When
Thanks,
when
Chris,
when
for that.
what month was that, Chris?
It was
Yeah,
during
what
it was during baseball season, the playoffs, so it was October. So,
October. So,
Oh,
wow.
yeah, we're a little bit older. We are
I am
than
older than the
Uh,
high five because
I'm
I'm
older than the high
July.
five. I'm June. Yeah, I'm older.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's
I'm
fantastic.
sure there was a high five when I came out of the womb.
Oh man. Did you see what Dusty Baker did? Let's try.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
guys.
Isn't that a weird fact though? Sorry, I had to throw that out.
No, that was
So,
that's
yeah.
that's really
That's- that's
interesting.
what
guys.
I'm saying.
I texted Logan immediately. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you got to check this shit out.
And that's how
That's-
old we are now, right? Of
Right.
like that. We're
Like-
that old now.
You're
texting
older than
each
a high
other.
five.
Oh my god! Did you know? Yeah.
You're older than a high five.
That's hilarious. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Until next week, you know, we've got you covered. I think Chris has got a couple hot topics in the can.
Oh
that we
shit,
gotta-
dude!
that we
I
gotta
just need
put
to
out.
edit them. I just
Yeah.
gotta edit.
We got to get that out. Moocher Mondays is a thing now. Go check that out, where I explore everything other than the movies of Star Wars, like life in Star Wars, and I'm having fun with it. I'm hoping everybody else is. And of course, we're still dropping the toy reviews and the 1 minute stuff when Scott gets back from Scotland. He went to Scotland, right?
Is he?
I
I
think
need
so.
to.
know
I
where
need to
he
go.
is.
I need to go to Chrisland.
Chris, Scott's in Scotland.
Chris.
Oh boy.
I see what you
Okay.
did there.
I see what you did there.
I like it.
But I'm going to thank everybody for showing up and it also our replay crew. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe, and of course we haven't done this in a long time, guys. You know,
Oh,
did you
man.
do this last week? Did you
Yes.
guys do this last week? when I was
Yes,
gone?
begrudgingly, I did it. We
Yeah.
didn't have that.
See, Scott, you cannot do this anymore. Scott's fired. Wampa stomp that like button, please. Wampa stomp it. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. Catch us on the replay. Put us
still
on
don't
all
have
kinds
one.
of browsers.
Oh,
Who's this
we got-
roaring?
mine.
Chris's.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's the Galaxy's Edge one. Look out.
Yeah.
Special.
So I'll kick it off to Ernie to kick us out of here. Thank you, everybody. I will see you in the chat room. So.
Yes, thank you guys so much for being here tonight in the pit, especially Clift and Bondage Brittany. You guys keep that conversation going the whole time. Yeah, which is great, which is what we always want. So, yes, everybody in that replay crew, let us know your thoughts on this mid-season episode and what you thought of the heist. Was it cool? Was it too Fast and the Furious? Is it still Star Wars? I don't know. I wouldn't mind Dom showing up, though. I think little Toretto in Star Wars is needed. That's just
we had the Toretto sisters in with Ahsoka.
Oh, that's right.
In Clone Wars season 7, faux show.
Yeah. Yes.
Torettos.
So maybe they'll show up here and help out for another heist.
Oh man.
Yeah. There's so much possibilities that we can get. So, guys, thank you very much for being here. If you showed up late, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications and hit all so you don't miss out when all of that content that Moocher was talking about becomes available. Also, hit the thumbs up and don't forget to drop that comment. Follow us on all our social medias. You got Darth Moocher there, Bootleg Joe, Darth Dad, I'm the Fallen Fett, The Artist Scott Solo, Rogue Toys, and that's it. Thank you to our sponsor, Tashi Station Emporium. Right now, if you put it in order, you guys
got to see that thing on my Instagram that I posted on the Thing character, the figure, that Juice Juicing thing when I put him on a blood stand.
Did you?
Awesome. I opened them. Yeah,
nice,
freaking awesome.
I'll go check that right now. If you need some of those stands or much more, either whether it be for Star Wars, Marvel Legends, NECA, He-Man, whatever it is, Tashi Station got you covered. Use the code word Sarlacc Digest. Ooh, I like that.
The face lights up, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Did Ernie teach you how to do that?
That's sick.
To get the phone up to the screen? Because you've been having trouble doing that.
I know. I think it's the I switched computers, so maybe
the position's better.
Yeah, but check that figure out. My favorite so far. All right.
Use Sarlacc Digest and get 10% off your order and a free high five. So, because we're all older than it. We will send you a high five. There it is.
Maybe I'll change it to like you get $5 off your entire purchase for that high five.
There you go. There you go. So be sure and check that out. All the links are down below. If you want more of this great content, check us out while you're waiting for the next episode to drop next week here at Wednesday, 8 p.m. on this channel. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook, Sarlacc Digest Central for your 24/7 Star Wars talk.
We'll see you guys next week. Place.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. I've seen that our giveaway winners have gotten their stuff and posting about it and getting all the good stuff that's out there. So they've been posting
that's
in Facebook Central too. So more to come on that. More to come on that. So yeah, we're excited to keep the ball rolling on this. So with that, guys, let's get out of here. Let's go watch some House of Dragon. What do we think? What do you say?
I'm gonna go watch it again. our future Grand Admiral Thrawn is in there.
See what happens.
Exactly. He's there.
Or what is it? Wolf by Night.
Oh, I do want to.
Oh yeah, I got to watch that.
I do want to watch
that.
Yeah, I do want to.
That was good.
All right. Oh, sorry. Hey, keep it nerdy, folks.
There you go. End it.